We're into the penultimate day of campaigning for Singapore's presidential election. One issue continues to dominate the campaign: the political impartiality of Singapore's highest office. In his latest remarks on the matter, candidate Ng Kok Song disputed views from his opponent, Tharman Shanmugaratnam, that were shared during Monday's presidential forum on CNA. Mr Tharman had said that the elected presidency should be about individuals. He said labelling candidates by their political affiliations is an, quote, extremely simplistic thinking. But Mr Ng disagrees. He says that Singaporeans want a president who is, quote, free from the influences and agendas of political parties.
What I'm arguing for is not a matter of individuals. It's about whether the future of Singapore can be better safeguarded if we have a system, a good system of checks and balances, with the elected president being a non-partisan person.
Mr Ng was speaking to the media during a walkabout in Clementi. He adds that for an elected president to be effective as a check and balance to the government, the individual must stand above the politics of Parliament and get the mandate directly from the people. He says a non-partisan candidate like himself will be most suited to be president, as he comes from neither end of the country's political spectrum. Referring to online chatter that people may want to, quote, spoil their votes on polling day, he says they may be doing it out of cynicism towards the current political scene.
The people of Singapore have won their right to vote. So our right to vote is something precious and should not be taken lightly. But please, don't spoil your vote. It will be a waste for you to do so.
In response to Mr Ng's comments, Mr Tharman Shanmugaratnam is urging his opponents to, quote, rise above the tactical fray and focus on what they can offer to Singaporeans if they are elected president. Of this, instead of trying to distinguish themselves by pointing at someone else and make sweeping statements and simple labels.
So we should move past these simple labels and these sweeping statements, position ourselves based on what we can contribute to Singapore, rather than politicize this debate endlessly. Let's rise above the tactical fray.
Mr Tharman was speaking before his walkabout at Sengkang. He also says Mr Ng misquoted his statement relating to the political impartiality of firms that are dependent on the government. He insists he did not say that running a fund management company with state-owned firms as clients means Mr Ng is not independent.
I said the opposite, actually. I said that it doesn't mean that you're not independent. The whole point I'm making is whether you're a member of a political party, or you've been a top civil servant, or you're running a company that depended on the government for its business, the whole issue is your character. We are appointing someone for a high leadership position, head of state. Look at the person's individual character, their contributions, their track record, their emotional commitment, and their rapport with people.
While his opponents continued their campaign trail, presidential candidate Tan Kin Lian did not make a public appearance today. Still, his team of about 20 volunteers was seen handing out flyers at MRT stations and residential areas. These locations included Queenstown, Dover and Clementi. CNA understands they aim to hand out a total of 30,000 flyers today. Mr Tan has shelved plans for an online rally on Wednesday, and the team is expected to continue distributing campaign materials tomorrow in Sengkang and Punggol. The country goes to the polls on Friday, the 1st of September.
A police report has been filed after presidential candidate Ng Kok Song was subjected to verbal abuse while being followed by a man. Mr Ng was at Clementi when the incident happened. Decked in a red shirt, a man on a bicycle approached. He began shouting vulgarities and making threatening gestures. Mr Ng's team and his supporters tried to stop the man, but he did not stop. He eventually left the area, chanting the name of another presidential candidate. Police officers responded to a call for assistance from a member of the public and took statements from witnesses. Mr Ng says he will continue with his walkabouts and activities tomorrow.